If you're an artist and someone told you you need to build a brand, create a professional website, establish your visual identity before you start selling, I need you to understand something. That advice is keeping you stuck, and I'm going to explain exactly why. When I graduated with my art degree, I did everything I was told. I applied to jobs, I built a portfolio, and I applied to over 500 different jobs, and I didn't get a single interview. I just spent a year and a half living at my parents' house. I was constantly playing League of Legends. I was doom scrolling TikTok, and I just felt like I completely wasted my life. When I realized that no one was going to hire me and I had to make money on my own, I made the same mistake again. I spent weeks building out a brand, a logo. Everyone tells you that you need to have a website before you sell anything. So I went down the obvious steps. So I built a website, I built a brand, a logo, a color scheme. So I had this website that looked super professional. But do you know what happened? Nobody bought anything. And the reason for that is because I built branding around a product that no one wanted in the first place. So if that sounds familiar and you've been setting up your store, picking your fonts, designing your banner, all that stuff, and trying to look professional before you even made a sale, you're not lazy. You're behind because the advice that I keep seeing all over TikTok and just general advice being peddled to artists is in the wrong order. And nobody's telling you that. So I'm gonna break down why branding before validation is one of the biggest traps artists fall into, and why the artists who actually make money do the complete opposite, and what you should actually be doing instead of picking the color palettes or designing your logo. And most artists don't know what products actually work for them yet. Maybe you pick like pet portraits, or you pick character art, you pick like furry art, and you build a whole brand around it. You have a themed website, you have a matching social media, and you have a very professional looking website. But then nobody buys or even visits your page. And it's because your product wasn't validated. And this happens to normal business owners all the time, where you have a grand vision where you think that your product's gonna be the winner. And then you end up like full sending it without realizing that you haven't validated the products. A lot of people get overly excited over the potential because they like their own art so much, or they believe in themselves so much. And it's good that you have the belief in yourself and you believe in what you're selling. But you also have to look at the reality. Just because you like it does not mean everyone else likes it. And that's the trap, because now you're stuck. And do you tear down the whole brand and start over? Or do you want to keep pushing something that might not be working? You've already invested so much into the branding that pivoting feels like sunk cost fallacy. If you pivot, then all of that work was for nothing. And then you have to start from zero again. And that's a very hopeless feeling. So a lot of artists, they get trapped, and they get trapped by their own branding. And every hour that you spend on branding before validation is an hour that you're not spending figuring out what people actually want to buy. And here's how successful artists actually do it. The order is backwards. The artists who make money, and this is what I did, they do the complete opposite. So I threw a lot of